Well, when someone gets promoted to any people leader position, it's usually because they did really well on their own. They're very good at what they've been doing. And now they're entrusted with other people to teach them the same, or so they think. That's what often happens. So we're told, we're now trusting you with 5, 7, 14, 20 people. And because you're so good at what these, teach them to do the same thing. The problem is, if I teach you to coach like I do, you're never going to get as good at it as I am.
Right.
You can try as much as you, because it's my way of doing it. Your way of coaching would be very different, and your way of coaching, and equally as powerful in that different way. But now what? I've already been working 50, 60-hour weeks, and now I have all these people, and some of them don't get it, and I'm supposed to teaching them. I know I can see that they don't get it, and now what am I doing?
Yeah.
Judging.
Yeah.
Right? I'm minimalizing them. I don't even have to say anything, and some people will tell me, it's like, nobody will ever know, especially in sales, right? They like, I can fake it all the way, you will never be able to tell. I'm like, you're wrong. Because people have sensors. We all have sensors.
Yes.
We know what's real and what's not. And as soon as it's not, we're like,
You're questioning it.
I'm not going to trust you.
Feeling in the stomach, right? Yeah. Physical feelings you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, suspicion. It's fake. What else are they not telling me, right? And now I'm supposed to be learning from you? You're going to teach me? You haven't even bothered asking me what I want to do yet. So how much am I going to give you if I'm your team member? And then everybody has, so if we're all operating from this saboteur-driven brain of ours, it's an ugly picture. But when we can start seeing past that, and that's what I usually try and at least get like, okay, some people's like, why is it that we can't, why is it that it's not working? It's like, I'm trying so hard and I really want this. Like, well, where are you right now? Notice your state. Well, I'm really stressed out, right? So by definition, when you're stressed out, guess what? You're sending an invisible invitation to everybody else around you to also go into the state of protection. Right? It's like, woof, she's stressed out. I better go down low profile right now. I'm not going to want to lean in here. Back off.
Yeah.
Go safe. Or lay low. Well, if on the other hand, we're going to come in and I'm saying something along the lines like, wow, that's a really nice jacket, Jim, and you look like you're calm and present today. Good day for you so far. You're much more likely to start talking to me, to start opening his life. Oh yeah, totally there.
Showing interest in them, and putting them at ease, and it's important, right?
That's the key,
right?
Because it's like this basic human need to be seen. We all have it.
Seen and heard, yeah.
And we can't.
Yeah. Right.
We in corporations and in leadership, we talk about listening skills all the time. Seeing skills, not so much. So people often go like, what exactly do you mean? And then we go back to, well, it means when they're saying something, I really listen. Now that's the listening part. Yeah. What's the seeing part? It's to notice, and it's to let them know what you're noticing. And sometimes it could be, I'm noticing sadness, or I'm noticing you're upset, or I'm noticing something they haven't even noticed or acknowledged themselves yet. And that's a very powerful trust moment. In a way, it's like when we stop seeing our part in the other person that did the violence, then I forget exactly the word he said, but it was something along the lines of, we are no longer able to help them. We can't access them. So there's something that unites us, and I do believe, we know that that's the soul. In a way, we're all part of one. We just have all different pieces of the same one.
Right, exactly.
So to the extent that I do work with this is when it shows up in behavior that is unhelpful to them. And oftentimes it becomes one of those saboteurs. It is one of those patterns of thought patterns of what they've been told in their childhood about themselves.
Yeah.
Or it is something that basically they've developed as a coping mechanism in their childhood. So if somebody had a really messy, chaotic household they were growing up in, you never knew what was coming at you and when it was coming, in what way it was coming at you. You might develop a real controlling habit or behavior. And that was serving you very well growing up.
In that atmosphere.
In that atmosphere, to make some order and predictability, even when there wasn't any, but at least it gave you the container to feel like you could survive, right? To make sense of it somehow. Now, when you're growing up and you're controlling your teenager or the employees working for you to the extent like, it's not done the way I need it and you know it and I need it differently and it needs to be this way and that way, suddenly you're in a very lonely place. I would say two things. There might be more, but two things come to mind right away. Number one is I've learned the moments where I tend to most likely go into pleaser mode.
And when is that?
So there are meetings with clients when it's a sale thing, when it's like I want to make the company I'm also representing look good or others look good. So now I have a higher tendency to,
step
please,
it up even more,
not just one party, but two, and really lose myself a little bit in the process there.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the struggle that people have, and a lot of people will avoid at all costs changing anything. Some of it is fear that they're going to rock the boat and everything's going to disappear if we change something.
Fundamentally, at the bottom of it, you just named it, right? There's fear of the unknown. Because when something changes, we don't really know what the outcome is, what the ripple effect of that might be, what that might mean to us, to others we care about, in the short term or even in the long term. So, having been in change management for a long time, one of the basic rules is find out what they care about. And that goes right back to making others feel seen in some way. When you want to influence somebody, and in all aspects of our lives, we have that, whether it's we want to influence our kids to do well in school and to rise to the highest potential that they can, or we want to influence somebody to negotiate a lower price on something. We have it all the time, certainly in the business world too. If I'm not knowing at all what you care about and I'm trying to influence, how is that going to go? Right. So I have to be willing to let my position go to the side for a bit and to get really curious about, so what does Jim care about? Like, what does he read? What is he into? How does he talk? What words does he use? And what does that maybe indicate? And what can I get curious more about that? And then I can go back and figure out, okay, so based on what I'm hearing here, and based on the agenda that I have of what I need, or what I need of him, or what I want him to agree with or to support, I can now figure out a way to create a common platform from which you might be open to it, at least to have a conversation.
Right, at least.
So this goes back to this whole, it's always the same process, right? It's the same, okay, and now as I'm talking to you, I'm going to really watch how you're reacting to it. Which things that I'm saying, you're going to go like, where is she going with that? Versus, yep.
Little
totally
triggers,
Maybe So I'm going to play that back and I'm going to listen, I'm going to ask for that. And only then am I going to say the next thing. If I just plow in with my agenda and said, okay, I already know where you're at. I looked at the stuff and I know you're going to disagree with me, but.
Right. that's not gonna. That's all. There's now walls put up, and the other
Yes.
person's getting ready to respond to that
Yes.
approach, and
Yes.